Cats fans, Patrick Dangerfield here. Today I'm catching up with our Indigenous players. We're going to talk about their family, where they're from and what it's like to be an Aboriginal Australian. Nakia, your mob, where are they from? Tell us a bit about family.
Well, I've got two sides. I've got my dad's and my mum's side. So we're from Arnhem Land, kind of near Kreuger Island, sort of up northeast. And also my dad's side's also all up Cairns, Doomadgee, Cape York. So we've got a bit of land to cover if you want to go and travel a bit and see the family. So
most of my family are up in Darwin. They're still there. My mob's Nakia, Warramungu and Gidgee, up in the north area of Australia.
My mob is actually from up this way, up at the top of Queensland, Yidinji, but I grew up in the Watherong community down in Geelong.
So I'm from the southwest region of Western Australia, which is Perth region. That's the Noongar country. So my two skin groups, so Whadjuk side, that would be my mum's side, and then Balladong side, that's my fathers. And
I didn't know too much about my heritage in terms of when I was a kid growing up. So Mum told me we had it in our blood and in our family, and she had to go do some research, and then I found out more when I did flying boomerangs. And so my mob is Noongar, Western Australia, and I actually got to do my first welcome to country when we were in WA for that 2-week period. But that was a great moment for me. I was a little bit emotional, just standing in the hub with the boys and having everyone do a welcome to country was very special for me. And it was on Noongar land as well too, so that means even more.
yeah, I think traveling from different countries, you definitely want the smoking ceremony is just to get rid of all the bad spirits and bring in all the positive energy. So that's why we do it, and just so we're safe as well. So we're not trespassing, we're making sure that we're respecting our land and other people's land as well.
Growing up, who taught you about what it meant to be Aboriginal and what it means, not only culturally, but from the family perspective?
Yeah, it's easy. That would probably be my grandfather. He was, he was really good at a young age, making sure he got me and my brothers, my cousins, my uncles, just got us out. Really taught us a lot and got us out dancing, playing didgeridoo or whatnot. So I grew up dancing my whole life, and
I guess growing up in Darwin, all my family's all Indigenous, and you just learn things without even knowing, fishing, hunting, dancing and whatnot. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place to grow up.
Yeah, I'm probably still learning a fair bit. I've just learned a lot from some of the Indigenous older men that live in the Geelong community. So
I think now getting older, I've just sort of started to even have dreams and stuff like that, learning more about the elders and my past, I guess soul, and the travelling that I've been doing this last couple of years. It's even being going through injuries and stuff, I've been asking my family to help me, and which has been crazy because I do some crazy things with magic and all that. And, so just things like that are just opening my eyes up to a lot of my own culture, which I haven't really been exposed to a lot.
Yeah, growing up, I didn't know too much, and then when I went to school in Alawa Primary in Northern Territory, I had our first, we called it a Nunga class, where they used to take us, all the Indigenous kids out, and we'd learn about the culture and the history. It's a very special time for us kids growing up and learning about it.
Most influential Indigenous players for you? You've played footy for a few years now at the top level. Growing up, who are the biggest influences?
The first thought that comes to my head was probably Leon Davis. So he's actually my uncle from my mum's side. Yeah, so he still keeps in touch with me, messages me every now and then, asking how I'm going, and he was just one of the most exciting players to watch growing up. So
I think the biggest one was Lance Franklin for me. I did my PLP project on him when I was in primary school, learning about the heritage and the influence Adam Goods has had on the AFL system. I think now he's probably one of my favourite past AFL Indigenous players, as well as Cyril Rioli and Bradley Hill and Jeddah as well too. So there's a lot of guys I can name, but yeah, just those are some.
There's no one that you're forgetting from South Australia?
South Australia, who am I forgetting?
Number 23.
Oh, McLeod! Sorry, Bunge, if you're watching, sorry, brother. It's weird, I don't see him as an AFL footballer anymore. He's more like a stepfather now. So
You've forgotten him. You have totally forgotten him.
That's another thing as well. Doing the McLeod programs back in Adelaide. Those are some of the best programs done for me as well.
Talk to us about the Gelang Program at the football club and how important that is to be a part of it for one, but how important it is for us to engage with that.
Yeah, I guess, growing up in Darwin and then moving away, it's sort of hard to reconnect with, the mob in Geelong. So I guess having that program in place, you get to, meet those people and they sort of, teach you, their ways as well. So
with the culture there, with the Gelang program as well, just doing that type of stuff is great for us. We get to go and see the Indigenous kids that are when they finish school or if they're about to start school. That's one of my favourite things, is going there, and it's just simple things like knitting and just talking to each other, playing table tennis and just hanging around those types of guys. It's just great for the program, great for the club as well to give back.
The Black Lives Matter movement has really springboarded how important it is to be culturally aware of all walks of life, but particularly for us in Australia, it's Indigenous Australians. You were really strong in the fact that you wanted to do something as a club, and you drove that strongly, wearing the black warm-up tops. Do you think more can be done in this space? We obviously have Indigenous Round that happens once a season, but we can continue to, I suppose, educate people around the impact Indigenous Australians have on this country and the real history of Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. There's still heaps to be done, and that's why it's so good what you're doing with the We Got You campaign. I think that's amazing, and everyone's jumping on board. You see people like Paddy Mills jumping on board with that. That was awesome. And yeah, I think it's just about education now, like everyone learning and understanding Indigenous culture, and we still got a long way to go, but I'm so glad to see that people are taking that next step.
Speaking of young kids, before we finish up, you're pretty good with all the kids that are in the hub at the moment.
Yep.
A bit of practice going on before you and Grace welcome little Patrick the Cockatoo.
Not sure about Patrick, but we've got a few names. If it's a girl, we've got a name, and a boy. So I'm pretty excited. We're 29 weeks into the pregnancy, so there's not a lot of time left, and we need to get ready.
Thank you, Cocky.
Yeah, thanks, mate.